Coming up on Colonial SportsCenter, it's a much anticipated playoff edition. We take a look at the events of last night in Dayton.
And the RMU men's hockey team finds themselves into very familiar territory. We have our very own Haley Sawyer with more on that. All coming up next.
And welcome back to Colonial SportsCenter. You're not me, and I'm not John.
No, I like it.
I do too. Dante Vermey, Kristen Kudla. We get set for the playoff edition. Yes, the beard is still intact. We've been away for 2 weeks with spring break, but lots to come up. Of course, men's basketball and the events of last night. Spoiler alert. It's not worth it to spoil. Anywho, we'll backtrack before that. Lots going on for men's basketball. Stephen Bennett was arrested Sunday morning in Southside last Sunday morning after the Colonials won the NEC Championship. He was arrested for an altercation with police. His court hearing was on Wednesday. Cue Kristen.
Bennett pled guilty to multiple charges and has been ordered to pay a fine. Sports Information Director Jim Duzick said, quote, "We cannot comment any further," end quote. For a full update on the story, go to RMUCenturyMedia.com.
And with that, let's have some fun. Following a victory over Bryan to earn a berth in the NEC tournament final, the Robert Morris men's basketball team traveled up to the borough of Homes and Churches, that's Brooklyn, in the Big Apple, that's New York City, to take on the Terriers of St. Francis Brooklyn in a 1-versus-2 matchup for the right to go to the big dance. Here are the highlights as we make our way all the way back to last week. You know, the Terriers Arena is called the Pope. Fun fact. As we get started early here, Glenn Sabrin puts it in. And then we quickly move forward. It will be Pryor on a turnover. Feeds it to Kayvon Stewart. One more for Elijah Minnie for the finish. The Terriers looking for their first ever trip to the big dance, one of 4 teams to have never made it. Colonial's Elijah Minnie for 3, giving them problems. 90 seconds later, yes, Pryor puts RMU up by 10. Following that, Kayvon Stewart not fouled, but turns it over. Brent Jones takes it the other way for the layup here in the second half for 2.
Things getting a little too close for comfort.
Oh, it gets so much worse. Under 20 seconds left. Sabrina drills a 3. RMU up by 1. Colonials lead goes back to 3. Jonas Hopkins' shot goes off the net. The rebound is corralled by Tyreek Jarrell, and he's fouled by Minnie. 3 shots at the line. Spoiler alert, he missed them all. Lucky Jones will shoot, puts the ball, it misses. St. Francis takes it the other way. Last chance, goes off the rim. Robert Morris walks out with the victory after trailing 35-29 at halftime in front of a hostile crowd at the Pope. Robert Morris turned on the offense in the second half, shooting 55% from the field, led by Ronnie Pryor with 11 of his 14 points coming in the second half as RMU clinched its 8th NEC tournament championship and a berth in the big dance. And the events that happened in Brooklyn foreshadowed what happened just 24 hours ago in Dayton, Ohio.
And with that, their win against the Terriers, the guys went dancing all the way down the Dayton to take on North Florida in a play-in game in the NCAA tournament. Could they make it out on top? To the highlight we go. Spoilers, it was really exciting.
It was so exciting.
And somebody got the great opportunity going down there.
Someone's still tired about being down there.
Right there, we're going to have a 3 there, but then foul, and right up with it for Colonials, getting up to the lead. We're going to have Reed with the ball, finds a lane, passes the defender to Andre Frederick, slam dunk.
With the red hair.
There you go. Hey, he lost a bet with that. That's why he has red hair. Fun fact.
Man of his word.
And there's Lucky Jones with a beautiful jumper there. Pryor's going to break through his defenders, drives to the lane, 2 for the Colonials. RMU leads 15-2. Beach is going to get it to Nesbitt, drives in, kicks it back out, and all the way from beyond the arc for the 3. North Florida with 4.
The Ospreys.
But here the Colonials are going to come back. Pryor decides to take it in all by himself and makes the basket. And that's going to do it for the first half. But going into the second, things change up just a little bit. Reed's going to go there, takes it in, dances, and shoots it in for 2.
Pun intended.
Reed's going to get the ball to Pryor. Bounce pass down the lane. And RMU within 6. Pryor to Beach. Hey, remember that shot we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Well, hey, Lucky Jones does the same thing. Or pardon me. And Stewart's going to bring it up. He's going to speed it in to Jones for the 3.
Got a little excited ahead of yourself there, Kristen.
Oh, just a little bit.
It's a tournament.
Hey, but it's like the Oprah Winfrey Winfrey show. You get a 3, he gets a 3, and there's another 3 for you.
And look, there's a 2.
And the Colonials take it in on the foul. Here we're going to have a nice little jumper there for the Colonials. Shot and makes it. Now we've got some Colonial fans there within 3 points. Lucky Jones is going to make his free throw here, and that's going to be the final nail in the coffin for North Florida. The three-headed dragon came out on top for the Colonials with 60 points between both Lucky Jones, Marquise Reed, and Rodney Pryor. RMU's victory was their first NCAA win in almost 30 years and also their first win for NEC team since 2008. The Colonials will duke it out with Duke tomorrow at 7:10. And don't forget to check out our fine programming at RMU Television. It's your one-stop shop for Colonials for RMU TV needs. For more on RMU Live, campus stories trending now, and any great web series, visit rmucentermedia.com.
Duke it out with Duke.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's original.
Switching to the women's basketball team, they were looking to defend their NEC tournament championship, starting off against the Knights of Fairleigh Dickinson. To the highlights, we go all the way to the School Center, but rather just turn to this little monitor to my right. Women's basketball versus Fairleigh Dickinson. And Rebecca Navarro takes it herself all the way in. That's no problem with the bucket. And then Amanda Andres, with a Colonial in her face, drills a three, long distance for the Knights. Ashley Ravelli takes it in. Will draw the foul and get the one. And one. I like how everyone says and one. Then FTU counters. Kelsey Cruz takes it herself. And Lou Madeline from the foul line. I can't do that. It's really hard. RMU up three, but Cruz says, what's up? Now we're tied. And Nikki Stam-Lamper feeds it to Judah Sully, the Greece-Spain connection. We should trademark that. Halftime, RMU up by 2 over the Knights.
You should copyright that.
Second half, Stam-Lamper inbounds it, finds Navarro and hits the jumper. Put RMU up off the backboards. Why does everyone hate on the backboards? Stam-Lamper splits the D and finds the bucket with the foul. Janelle Brown feeds it to Stam-Lamper. Stay on a Nikki Stam-Lamper show, everybody. But guess what? She doesn't only shoot. She can dish.
Oh, there you go. Another great shot.
Takes it in. Navarro, down low, takes it herself. Let's back up and look at it again just 90 seconds later in the game. Navarro takes it in, backs in, puts it in herself. It's the same thing twice. Don't you just love that?
Yeah, you think they would have caught it the first time.
Yeah, and then Anna Nikki, moving like a jumping Ben Roethlisberger throw, finds it into the bucket. Navarro kicks to Megan Smith. ABA range 3. It's good as the Colonials walk away with the victory. They cruise to their victory with 3 players scoring in the double digits, led by Rebecca Navarro with 23 points. All the Colonials scored at least 4 points in the contest. Robert Morris went on to beat Bryant to advance to the NEC Championship, but fell to St. Francis Brooklyn 77-62.
Darn.
Darn.
But hey, we have some great stuff coming up, including men's hockey. I wonder what happened to them.
Men's hockey highlights in their quarterfinal against Niagara, and of course Haley Sawyer will come with us to talk about
Hockey.
You'll see. I don't want to spoil it yet. We'll be right back here on CSC.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
To Maddie. Congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to CSC. The men's hockey program began their Atlantic Hockey title defense with a best-of-3 series against Niagara. 2 wins and the Colonials would make a return trip to Rock City. Could the Colonials start off on the right foot in Game 1? Highlights right now.
It was a really exciting game.
Was really exciting. 9 minutes in, Matt Cope takes a shot deflected in by Scott Jacqueline. Last time in the playoffs, I wonder who that was, just screaming bloody murder. Matt Cope's shot deflected by Jacqueline. He was the one who scored the overtime goal last season to send Robert Morris to the championship. Friedman's shot saved there by Jackson Tygrove. The turnaround chance goes in, but hold the phone. The official ruling was the goaltender Tygrove pushed the net off the moorings right before the puck went in. Turco fed it across. Cody Weidel got his stick on it, but left it wide open in front as it was put home by Patrick Conti. 1-1 tie. On the power play, Kevin Patterson puts it home with a bomb. Niagara would go up 2-1 at the end of the first. Mind you, this is the number 11 seed, last place. 5 wins on the season, but they don't show it. Jeff Jones with a wraparound in front. Timmy Moore able to put in the rebound, the freshman. We're tied at 2. Now move on here to the third period. Tyson Wilson shot deflected in front by Spencer Dorowitz, goes through 5-hole on Tygrove, and Dorowitz puts it home. 3-2 lead now for Robert Morris early in the third. We'll take a look at the replay, just get a little bit of it, and it goes home. Any shot's a good shot in the playoffs. Out of the Army power play, Kevin Alberts in a shot and a big save from Dalton Isaac on the breakaway to keep it a 1-goal lead for the Colonials. Isaac picked by Scully to start Game 1. Now we move forward here. Empty net for the Colonials. Brendan Denham takes it in, hacked on the way. Doesn't matter, he puts the puck home for goal number 4 on the evening for the top 5 ranked scoring offense.
Almost missed that one.
In all the country. He almost missed it, but he said, no problem, brah. I got it. And of course,
gotta go hit the easy button.
Easy does it. Colonials would take Game 1 4-2. After Niagara scored 2 unanswered goals to end the first, the Colonials' top 5 offense kicked into gear, scoring 3 unanswered. Led by a 4-point performance by the fourth-line crew of Spencer Dorowitz, Jeff Jones, and Timmy Moore. Brendan Denham and Matt Cope each registered 2 points. Dalton Isaac recorded 38 saves in the 4-2 victory. Both teams returned to the ice 24 hours later, the Colonials looked to punch their ticket. Niagara looked to keep their season alive.
And while in Game 2 of the series, the Colonials had their chance, like Dante said, to sweep Niagara under the rug and find their way to the AHC semifinals. Could they do it? Well, we're going to go to highlights once again down at the 84 Lumber Arena to go find out what happened.
I wonder what happened.
That's a really important person right there. Keep that number in your mind, number 16. Right here, John Ray's going to deflect it. Greg Gibson deflects it in. We're going to see it, the replay. As you see, John Ray with the shot, but Gibby right there deflected in. Harper's going to shoot it. Saved by Isaac. The rebound to Turco finds the empty net. Once again, Isaac gives up the rebound and just wide open for Turgot to get it right in there. Wilson's going to pass it to Jacqueline, feeds across the Lynch, and he shoots and scores right there through traffic. Great job by Lynch to get it over the net, or in the net. Wilson's going to feed it over to Wido and goes in.
Over the net would have been bad.
Oh, that would have been very bad. But to the second period we go. Army leads 3-1. Cheriton goes inside circle, passes to Isaac. And here we have it. Shoots and goes through. And almost impossible. I was really surprised that shot actually even went in. As you can see, he shoots it, goes through 3 Colonial defenders plus the goaltender.
Keegan Harper, no relation to Bryce.
Yeah, but this shows how intense these 2 games were. A lot of fighting going on, pushing and shoving. We're going to see a little bit of consequences later on in the highlight. Here, Cody Wido goes for it and gets boarded. A hard hit by Niagara.
Ouch.
Yeah, at that point, there was 5 total Niagara players in the penalty box. But on to the third period, Zach Lynch is going to poke it away, and he gets it, shoots, dukes it out, and scores short-handed. That was finally the last notch for the Colonials, and was able, after that, it was all she wrote. But before the game was over, Greg Gibson's going to get it. He's going to duke it out by himself, goes around and shoots and scores. That's 2 for Gibby on the day. You have that once again for the replay. Freeman's going to get it. Fans turns over. Freeman's going to get it back, though, and finds the open net with a final score of 6-3. The Colonials soared past the Purple Eagles with a final score, like I said, 6-3. RMU goaltender Dalton Isaac faced a total of 68 goal shots on the weekend and helped to propel the Robert Morris Colonials to a familiar place, the AHC semifinals in Rochester, New York. Here's what Coach Schooley had to say on the weekend and looking forward to the future.
Of closing it out in 2 this time and making sure that you're as fresh as you can be, I suppose, this time of the year going into the semifinal.
Well, last year just seemed so long, playing 3 games the first round, having to travel out to UConn, travel back, then back to Rochester. And this year feels like a breath of fresh air. I mean, we had to get 2 wins at home. We didn't have to leave our beds, where we had to leave our beds a lot last year. Now we're going to go to Rochester, 2 wins away from going back to the NCAA tournament. And I'm sure the other 3 teams are looking at it the same way. They're 2 wins away from going. And now we're playing single elimination games from here on out. The rest of the way, no matter what we play, it's if you lose, you're out. So it's important to continue doing the same things we've been doing. Good starts, putting pucks on nets, physical, blocking shots, playing with energy. Mercyhurst, the weekend we had, first game was kind of wide open, run and gun. The second game was more tight check, and we played really good. We outshot them, I think, 42-18-19, but we couldn't put a puck past Jimmy Sargent. And that was unfortunately the problem with that game, and hopefully we're able to capitalize on some of our chances and play just as well as we did in Erie in December.
Coach Derek Schooley did a lot with this team this year, and because of that, he was named AHC Coach of the Year. The Hobey Baker Top 10 candidates were announced today, and Cody Wido was one of them. Cody is the first ever Hobey Baker finalist to come from RMU, so keep showing your support by voting at www.hobeybaker.com/awards/the-Hobey-Baker-Memorial-Award/vote. And I didn't mess up this time.
Breathe. Nothing like a CSC if we weren't able to fit in a little football. Earlier this week, the RMU football squad announced their 2015 regular season schedule. Aside from the regular matchups versus NEC schools, the Colonials' out-of-conference portion includes 4 first-time opponents, including Youngstown State, South Dakota State, Notre Dame of Ohio, and the newly formed football program from East Tennessee State. The season begins on September 5th at home against the Flyers of Dayton. Did you like that?
I bet you a lot of people
You really thought Notre Dame, it was the real Notre Dame, didn't you?
I really thought that, and I really got excited, and I'm pretty sure our producer,
and I'm really excited I got the pause there. Too. But don't go anywhere. Coming back, Haley Sawyer will join us for some Rock City talk as we get set to preview Robert Morris in the Blue Cross Arena for the Atlantic Hockey semifinal against Mercyhurst, and hopefully beyond that here on Colonial SportsCenter.
The Red Sea, they need to be able to feed themselves. Penn State couldn't beat the Colonials in a game. It truly was a shame. And then Sacred Heart pioneered.
The RMU Century Media app is your mobile resource for all news Robert Morris. With access to campus news, RMU sports, and lifestyles, as well as RMU radio and RMU TV, the RMU Century Media app allows you access to all the information you need, no matter where you are. You'll have access to thousands of articles already online, and the new ones that are added daily. Download the RMU Century Media app for free today.
Hello. I'm back. How are you?
I missed you.
I missed you too. Choo-choo! They're a train that keeps on rolling. Who would win in a fight, Ditka or a hurricane? I swear, each year could become a feel-good movie for the whole family. They just aren't losing. It's a shame, isn't it? Do you know how to tame a tiger? Either grow up with them or keep one as a pet like Mike Tyson.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure being by your side.
Okay.
Welcome back here to Colonial SportsCenter. No John Fisher, he's in Botswana on a mission to get the special hair products needed for his beautiful locks, known as the kakafufu. But joining us right now is Haley Sawyer, along with Kristen Kudla. Haley, how's it going?
Hey guys, it's good to be back.
Back home.
Nice to see you again. It feels good.
Feels good?
Feels good.
Well, let's start with the men's hockey team. Obviously, Niagara did not play like a normal 11 seed last weekend.
Definitely not. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody thought there was going to be a bludgeoning that weekend because Niagara was consistently last, like dead last in Atlantic hockey. So, and you'd think facing the first team would be really simple, but they just came out hard. And you know, playoff hockey is just so much different from the regular season. And the guys were telling me after the game, I talked to some of them, and they're like, you know what? They just came out and they fought hard. They were working hard tonight, and that's what happens in playoff hockey. It's a whole other story.
Now in that second game, RMU had the lead in the first, but then the second, they just kind of gave everything up. What do you think really broke down in that second period, especially since they ended up, RMU came back to win it all?
You know, it was just, I think, a little bit of a loss of focus and a little bit of relaxation, and that's something that Coach Schooley stresses pretty often, is playing a full 200-foot game and a full 60 minutes of hockey, and that was one of those instances where they just kind of lost focus a little bit, and then luckily regained it in the end to pull off that W.
Now, we look back at game one. We talked about this earlier, how the fourth line, it was nice to see the fourth line getting out there and getting important goals when the guys like Cody Wido and Zach Lynch just couldn't find the back of the net.
Yeah, that fourth line was very surprising because you have the freshman on that line, but then you also have Jeff Jones, who, if you look at even the beginning of this season, he was a second liner, if I recall correctly. So he really had the power on that second line. He was really producing. He was up there with some top-notch players, and then kind of just went under the radar a little bit. I don't know exactly what happened, but he kind of lost everybody's attention and slipped down to the fourth line. So maybe he just kind of had, you know, an epiphany and decided to kick it back up a notch. So he does have the skill. He definitely has the skill to be on the second, first, third line, and he's normally not a bottom six. So I think there was a reawakening of sorts in that moment.
Now, somebody who had an awakening in that weekend was Greg Gibson. Now, with his performance that weekend, he's actually advanced in the lineup going into this weekend. How do you think that's going to affect everything?
Yeah, you know what? Greg Gibson is probably one of my favorite players to watch because, you know, off the ice, he's got so much energy. And on the ice, he keeps all that energy, and he just really goes, and he's so fast. Number one, he's so fast. He can really get in those tight spots and weave and everything, and he's been rewarded. He's been bumped up to the first line. And Coach Schooley has said that he really likes Greg Gibson up in that line, but it also gives him some freedom to work in other people. Like at the end of, I believe it was the second Niagara game, he switched in Scott Jacqueline for the end of the game. So it kind of, it's a testament to how they can rearrange the lines and rearrange people in the lineup, and it still works out. But definitely Greg Gibson, I'd say he's one of the most improved players of the year, right up there with Daniel Levens, I would say.
Now, we saw the whole season pretty much how lucky they were to be able to have two goaltenders in Terry Schaefer and Dalton Isaac just split every start. But now it seems Coach Schooley has switched, and it's going to be Isaac the rest of the way. What do you think of that? Because he played pretty well in the weekend, picking up where he left off last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, Dalton's definitely a solid goaltender that you can always go to, and so is Terry in a sense. And I think we were all, I wouldn't say it was a surprise when he decided to go with one goaltender, because it was kind of that thing that was always in the back of your mind, like, all right, like he's gonna have to make a decision sometime. And it just turned out that he went with Dalton. And like I said, Dalton's really solid. He's a very calculated goalie, whereas Terry is kind of, I don't want to say he's not calculated, but he definitely plays with a lot of heart and a lot of instinct. But, you know, Dalton does have that playoff experience from last year coming in as a freshman especially, which is crazy, getting into that situation because Terry was hurt. But like I said, Dalton definitely has that playoff experience, and he's going to go in there confident. And I think that maybe what Schooley was thinking when he made that decision.
With a red-hot goaltender in Isaac, do you think that we're going to be able to see Terry at all this weekend?
Well, I mean, you can't go into a series and say that for sure there's going to be one goaltender the whole weekend because, you know, like I said earlier, it's playoff hockey. Anything could happen. So maybe if Terry if Dalton, I'm getting confused, they're splitting the time so much, they're just the same person to me. But if Dalton gets into those situations, maybe lets a few goals in, he can be pretty tough on himself sometimes because he is so calculated and so serious. So if Schooley and if the other coaches see that he's having a little bit of a mental breakdown, they definitely have that option to bring in Terry, and he's very reliable. He's proven that he's reliable, and I am sure that he would just love to get in that net for playoff season.
Well, Haley, we have to wrap this up really quickly, but first, your prediction. What do you think happens this weekend?
Oh, man.
Is it going to be the political we'll see.
I could say we'll see because I'm not really one to make predictions. I will say that RMU has the potential to be a repeat champion. Whether it happens or not, that's beyond me. That's all the hockey gods.
That's a political answer. Haley, sorry, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure.
Coming up next, primetime plays here on CSC. Let's see what the 5 are. There's 5 of them this week, I hope. Coming back.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
They were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Primetime plays of the week.
And we have 5 of them today.
Number 5. We got some basketball here. The shot at the end coming from St. Francis looking for the 3 to cover, but it didn't matter. Rob Morris won.
Well, guess number 4. It's going to go here to Dalton Isaac with the absolutely incredible save.
I'm kidding. Kevin Albers. Number Trace. That's ironic because, that's not a 3. It's a feed inside and the bucket for Andre Frederick in the play-in game for Robert Morris.
Number 2 is going to go to Pryor from beyond the arc for the 3.
His shot is so pretty. Numero 1.
This is also really pretty.
Back to hockey. Zach Lynch, short-handed to go up for Robert Morris, puts it home past Jackson Tygrove. Robert Morris would walk away with a winner. Going on the way to Rochester. Upcoming schedule: Friday, men's hockey plays against Mercyhurst. Women's lacrosse at Niagara. Men's basketball take on the Blue Devil of Duke's Upset City. 16s never beat a 1. Think about that. Saturday, men's lacrosse at Sacred Heart. If Robert Morris men's hockey wins, they will play in the championship game on Saturday.
And on Sunday, we have women's lacrosse at St. Bonavent. And then Tuesday, we have men's lacrosse versus Maryland. And then Wednesday, we got a lot of softball for Penn State.
Breathe.
Blah.
But the better question is, will we come back next week?
I don't know, I think, but you want to know it? Hey guys, guess what? 2 years ago, we beat Kentucky. Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Stranger
Today.
things have happened. We'll be back next week. In the middle. Aw, I missed.
You missed.